Hi, this is Jeff from the Ozark Mountains in Missouri, USA. Today, we're taking a look at this HP DeskJet D1660 printer. No, we're not really. But we are taking a look at what's in this box. And what is that? Well, it is a Timex Sinclair 1000 computer and a 16K RAM expansion module. Now, it just so happens that the Timex Sinclair 1000 was the first computer I ever owned. I paid for it with my own money. As I recall, it was about $30, and it must have been in 1983, somewhere in that time frame. I bought it secondhand from a fellow that was upgrading to a Commodore 64. And I spent hours playing with that thing, learning how to program. It was a blast. And, no, it wasn't a great computer, but man, it was 30 bucks. Where else could you buy a computer in 1983 for 30 bucks? Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this episode. Whether you need a small simple board like this or a larger, more complicated design, head on over to PCBWay.com, click on PCB Instant Quote, upload your files, and select from the plethora of options available. PCBWay offers a wide range of products and services, including assembly, stencils, and PCB design. When you have a need for circuit boards, head on over to PCBWay.com and give them a try. Okay, let's dig into this box here. Got my handy dandy knife. We'll open her up. I believe this thing is actually a new in-box, or darn close to it, judging by the pictures and what was listed. Looks like they did a fairly decent job of boxing it up here. Lots of packing material. Using a Walmart bag, so you know it's got to be done right. Let's take a look at the little box here first. I imagine that is the 16K RAM module. Yes, it is. Now, when I had my Timex Sinclair 1000, I did not have this. I had a whole whopping 2K of RAM, and I still managed to write a lot of programs in that. So 2K of RAM and BASIC on a Timex Sinclair. That was not easy. It was very ugly programming. But we do have the RAM module. Just like Christmas, warp open the paper here. There's the computer. Okay, here we are. Now, the box doesn't look new by any stretch, but it's not in bad shape. So, graphic here on the side showing you how everything hooks up. I'll get this squeaky styrofoam out of here. There we go. That sounds a bit like SpongeBob's boots. Oh, I'm opening it upside down, of course. Oh, hey. It has writing on it. So I should have known. Oh, enough of that bloody squeaking. Okay, we'll try it like that. Yeah, very nice. Well, the TV switch was never out of there. Got our RF cord. Still wrapped up. And the way that's wrapped up, I don't know if that's been unwrapped. The same for the cassette cable right there. And yeah, see, that all looks like wrapped up like it's never been used. But I don't know if these originally were in bags or what. I don't remember. And serial number 8675. Got our channel 2 and 3 switch here. Oh yeah, that looks really nice. I do believe this has never been used or not been used a lot. And oh yeah, the keyboard is still as terrible as I remember. but it was a computer and it was all mine. And let's see if the manual looks like it's been used. It's still in good shape, not a lot of creasing or anything, some yellowing with time. Yeah. And we've got all our warranty stuff in here. Oh, I can't get that out though. Ow, oh, squeakiness. There is their toll-free number if you need to call them for some technical support. Oh, look, you can order a joystick, a Timex Sinclair cassette recorder. There is a list of software. I was hoping this came with some, like a software cassette or something, but it does not. Service contract, an envelope to send it in. Ah, compatible recorder list. That comes with a 90-day limited warranty. I think this type of stuff is as interesting as the computer itself, just to see what it came with at the time. And of course, the lovely doorstop computer, the Americanized ZX-81. Oh, how much time I spent with this little guy. Let's take a look at that RAM module now. What do you think? Okay, here is our RAM expansion, and the packaging is not perfect. We still got our auction lot sticker on there, but it's in decent enough shape. Oh, there is our warranty card, I think. Oh, instructions for use. Yep, okay. And of course I opened it upside down again. There we go. Sealed in the box for, what, 3 decades? Almost 4 decades. Serial number 372012. As I recall, people used to put some rubber bumpers under there to keep that from tipping and losing all your data. While Sinclair was a household name in the UK and Europe, it was not in North America, so Sinclair formed a joint venture with Timex to sell the Timex Sinclair 1000. It came out in July 1982 with a price of $99.95, well below other offerings. The TS-1000 was a slightly modified version of the Sinclair ZX-81. It had an NTSC RF modulator, and it had 2K of RAM. Timex claimed to have sold about 600,000 Timex Sinclair 1000s in the US by early 1983, with the price dropping eventually to $49. The TS-1000 used a regular TV that served as a monitor, producing a black and white display that consisted of 32 columns and 24 lines. The limited graphics were text-based. The only option for program storage was the standard compact cassette deck provided by the user. The 16K memory expansion unit was another $49.95. Home computer magazines of the period would often have type-in programs that would work in the measly 2K of RAM. I can remember typing in many programs, even those with machine language loaders. It could take ages to debug the program and find the character or two that you typed in wrong. There were also aftermarket offerings of replacement keyboards, disk drives, and memory expansions. I can remember wondering if I could buy a 16K RAM chip at Radio Shack and plug it into the socket inside my TS-1000. And I also puzzled about how to make my own external keyboard. That experience may have been part of my motivation to learn more about electronics. I've hooked up the RF cable to the TV, and it's a little short. It only comes to here, so we'll have to make do with that. Before I plug it in though, I'm going to do a quick check on this power supply. I'm not going to load test it. This has never been used, so we'll do a quick voltage check and look for ripple. Then we'll give it a go. I would just rather take a couple of minutes and make sure the power supply is okay rather than blowing up a nice computer. Here we go. We've got our power supply plugged in, and we'll check on the DC range. It's about 12 volts, but it's unloaded, so that's okay. I'm going to put it on the AC range See if we can measure any significant ripple. And no, that's not too bad. It's not horrible since this power supply has not been used. The capacitor is probably okay in there. So we'll go ahead and plug in the computer and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. We've got our Timex Sinclair 1000. And we will plug our RF cable in here. I'm going to have to get a longer cable worked up somehow. I'll do that. And one silly thing they did on here is that all three connectors here for the earphone, a microphone for the cassette, and the 9 volts DC all take the same plug. That wasn't a real brilliant idea. And I'll set this to channel 3. Set our TV to channel 3. And plug in the power and see what happens. Oh my goodness, we have a prompt. I think that's the first time this thing has ever been plugged in. Now, I don't remember how to use this. It has been a long time. Let's see. 10. Then you hit the key. Print. Where's the quotes? This is going to be a very boring video of me trying to type on a Sinclair computer. Okay, bottom row, no quotes. Second row up, no quotes. Ah, quotes right there. Shift P. Nope. Shift quotes. A space BIRT quotes. Enter. Okay. 20. Go to 10. Enter. Oh, got 2 lines in. On a roll. We will run. Oh. How about that? For some reason, that is really exciting. It works. Awesome. Now, I don't even remember how to check how much memory is on this thing once the memory expansion is installed. So I'll have to do some reading on that. I kind of wanted to set this up without doing a lot of reading ahead of time to get that experience like I had back in the early 80s when I got one of these for the first time. This is awesome. So I'm going to dig out a cassette recorder and we'll see about trying to make some cassettes to load some programs on this guy. Let's do that. Couldn't stand it. I got out the RAM expansion module and I plugged it in. The first time it wasn't successful. It wasn't making good contact, which was the big problem with these things. And I fooled around with it, plugged it in again, and it kind of sat there for a while. And then it dawned on me that it's doing a memory test, and it's 16K now, so it's going to take longer. But as you can see here, it'll take a few seconds and it'll pop up the prompt. There we go. So it looks like the 16K module is working as well. All right, this is awesome. Well, I dug out a longer RF cable so I don't have to have the computer tucked back in the corner. And I also found my original computer program recorder from back in the day. This is the one I used on my original Timex Sinclair 1000. And it's kind of odd that it doesn't have a tape counter, but it does have this really handy pause button. So if you press pause, you can get all your other keys set up for play mode or record and play, and then just release the pause when you're ready to go. So I've got our classic 10 print 20 go to 10 program up here. I'm going to try to save that to cassette now. So I'll press down pause, and then do record and play. And we'll do save. And just call this hey. Hit enter. Then we'll release our pause button. And of course, you get these squiggly lines on the screen because it can't do anything else while it's loading or saving. And I like that this modern TV says, hey, it's a weak or no signal. I don't know what's going on. All right. Now, I'm going to erase that program from memory with a new. Rewind the tape. We'll get past the leader. Okay. Now let's do a list to make sure that's really not in memory anymore. There we go. It's empty. And we will do a load. We'll load hey. Hit enter and release pause. And again, we get squiggly lines. But this does appear to be loading. I wonder how many hours I spent as a kid waiting for this thing to load and save. Probably about as much as I waited for Commodore 64 disk to load and save. There we go. And let's do a list. There's our program. Awesome. Let's see if we can get this to load a larger program from the computer. What do you say? Well, using a real tape recorder, just like I did back in the day, was a lot of fun. I went an easier way to go directly from my PC and load programs directly on the Timex Sinclair 1000/ZX-81. So I got to surfing the internet and I found Easy Content's blog where he explained in great detail how to do this. I'll put the link to this page down below. He described using a program called Tapir, that's T-A-P-I-R, to go from the TZX file format directly to audio so you can output from the computer to the ZX-81. I found that works with the TZX files, but it doesn't work with the .p files, which also seems to be quite a popular format for archiving ZX-81 files. So I found a program called ZX-81 Tape Converter that works with both file formats. So let's try loading a program onto the little TS-1000 here. So here's our tape converter program. We'll just open our file and it'll pop up this little window here, which you can slide out of the way if you just want to play it and wait for later. I'm just using a regular 1/8" stereo output cable from the earphone jack on my computer. It's only going to make contact with one of the channels inside the ZX-81, and we'll just load closed quotes, so it's just going to load the first thing that it thinks it's finding on the tape. I'll hit enter, and then I'm going to press play, and it'll load. This is a 16K program, so it's going to take a while, so we'll come back when it's done loading. This program is a Boulder Dash clone called Boulder Logic, and it took, I don't know, about 7 minutes to load. And really, it's not a bad game. Of course, there's no sound because it's a ZX-81, and you have to play using the keyboard, which isn't that slick. But I would have been perfectly happy to play this back when I had one of these. And you can go up and get those things. It says one of these buttons fires, but I haven't figured out why you would want to do that. So just like Boulder Dash, you gobble up certain stuff, and when you run under rocks, they fall. It's not a bad job given the limitations of the machine. And now, you know, I've got a pretty easy way to load programs directly off the PC onto the TS-1000. This time we didn't need to do any repairs on our computer, but our packaging is a different story. You may have noticed there is some tearing on the boxes, and I would like to take care of that before it gets worse. Let's see how to do that. Let's take a look at the supplies we're going to need. This big roll of stuff is gummed tape. You can find it at industrial suppliers and stationery houses and things like that. You want the type that doesn't have the fiber reinforcement. Got this tip from a fellow on Twitter. And for some other parts, we'll want some glue. This is basically like a white glue, but it is a pH neutral, so it's not going to turn yellow over the years. A little paintbrush and a wetted sponge. Let's get started. Here's our box for the RAM module. It's got a couple tears starting in these two corners, which I would like to take care of before it gets worse. Now, since this is kind of small and I'll need a way to flatten this out, I've prepared ahead of time a couple little hinges made from that gummed tape and some waxed paper. And the general idea here is that we will wet the gum tape and apply it to the back of this, and then I'll slip some wax paper between it and one on top, and then we'll flatten it with a book and we'll let it set an hour or so to dry. Let's see how that works. I am going to wet one piece of the tape. You want it nice and wet but not dripping. This is really difficult to do and to show. I'm trying to line up the hinged part. And I am actually going to overlap it over the edge like that just a little bit. Try to flatten that out really good. Okay. And we'll do the same with the other side. Decently wet. Overlap the edge just a little bit. I got that one a little crooked, but that's okay. Only you and I will know. Okay, I'm going to slip that waxed paper in there like that. That's so we don't actually accidentally stick the two halves of the box together. Put one on the top, and then we'll cover that with a heavy book. I'm using Computer Hardware and Organization by M.E. Sloan. I'll set that on there, give it a little wiggle, and I'll let that set about an hour or so, and then we'll finish this box up. I'll do the same thing to the larger box as well. Okay, I also got the computer box taped up. If we peek inside here, we can see that there's several pieces of that box tape. And I went all the way to the end and kind of taped shut places where it needs to actually bend and move. But that's easy to solve. We'll just take some scissors and trim that like this. Then there's supposed to be a little slit here. And of course we need to round this corner. Now that we've got all the gum tape patches on in the right spots, we need to use a little glue to take care of some other areas. We have this seam here that's starting to open up, so we'll put a little glue in there. Just get a little on the brush. And apply it all over that tab. Then we'll just hold this together for a few seconds. It doesn't take too long to set up. You can also have some areas like this where the cardboard has started to delaminate. And I found that if we take a little glue and just kind of stipple it in the end as best you can, sometimes the layers will actually pull back and you can get the glue right in there. And then flatten that back out as best you can. And you'll have something that more closely resembles an edge. You'll also find areas like this where we've got the gum tape on the inside that'll keep that from ripping anymore. We need to get these little loose bits glued back down. So we'll just sneak some glue under there with our brush. And no, this poor box isn't going to be perfect. Yeah, you see there's another loose part right there. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll make it better, and we'll keep it from deteriorating for another few decades. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. This was really a blast from the past for me. Being the first computer I ever owned, being able to get another one in that like-new shape and use it and get the same joy from hooking it up and watching stuff appear on the screen. That was just fantastic. You know, I got a 16K RAM module this time, which I wasn't lucky enough to have as a kid, and I got to reuse the same tape recorder that I did with my original Timex Sinclair 1000. It was a lot of fun. Now, I'm wondering what your ideas are for expansions or modifications. I'm kind of hesitant to modify this since it was a new in-box type of thing, but I'm wondering what other people have done, such as composite mods and other types of add-ons that Sinclair users like to use on a machine like this. Let me know in the comments section down below. I would like to take a moment to thank everyone who supports the Hey Bert channel through Patreon and other means. It's greatly appreciated, and it allows me to keep making new episodes. If you'd like some more information about how to become a supporter, just look in the description down below for some links. If you're a subscriber, I would like to say thanks. It really helps out a lot. It's very encouraging to see the subscriber count grow, and it helps other people find the channel as well. If you look down below, you'll see a rectangular box that says subscribe. Well, click on that guy, and you too will be subscribed to this channel. Then you can click on the bell-shaped icon. That way YouTube will be nice enough to let you know just as soon as I post a new video. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comments section down below. I would love to hear from you. Well, until next time, bye.